What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Stefan here from App Stuff. Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're going to be going over the new navigation setup that SwiftUI implemented with navigation stacks. So we're going to be covering the awesome new functionality, and why it's better and more intricate than the old way of doing things, and go through a really cool example of how to implement it. So let's go ahead and get started now. So with Xcode opened up, guys, let's just go ahead and create an iOS app, and we're going to call this like navigation stack tutorial, and just go ahead and hit next and create your project. And then let's go ahead and get our Xcode windows all resized and set up so we're ready to go. I'm going to close out this right side menu, and let's give the preview a second to load. So to start this off, we are going to go over how the old system of navigation worked with SwiftUI. So let's imagine we wanted to have a tappable button here that would take us to a new screen. So what we would do is implement a navigation view. So we could go ahead and just cut all this stuff. We could hit Command X there, replace it with navigation view and content, and then you would just paste all your stuff back in there, right? And now this is inside of a navigatable view. It's in a navigation view, which enables us to go from screen to screen. Then we would have to implement what's called a navigation link inside of this navigation view. So let me just go ahead and cut all this code for the view out with Command X, and then we're going to say navigation link with a oops, I spelled that wrong. Link with destination and label, and just hit enter on those guys. The destination can just say text new view, and then you can paste that stuff back in there. And you guys will notice that now I can click on this and it will take me over to a new screen. So the new system of navigation has some interesting new features, and it's really simple to implement, right? And the first thing we need to do is simply replace navigation view with something called a navigation stack. So the navigation stack enables us to apply something called data-driven navigation. So the navigation link stuff can stay the same, but the navigation stack is going to have some different functionality that's going to make our navigation a lot more effective and give us a lot more capability and dynamic ability in terms of how to navigate between views in our application. So what I'm going to do, guys, is go ahead and create a list so that we can see how we're going to apply this navigation stack. So really quickly, let's just go ahead and replace this VStack stuff right here. So just go ahead and cut all this out with like some sort of list. And what we're going to do is implement a list with some car brands. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a structure here called brand, car brand. And we're going to make it identifiable. And we're just going to say let name be a string, let ID equal NSUUID dot UUID string. Okay. So now we're just going to make a list of cars. I'm going to just go ahead and copy and paste this, guys, and you guys can pause the video and type it out just to save time. Oops, it's called a car brand. So as you can see here, we just have a couple car brands: Ferrari, Lamborghini, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. And now inside of our list, we're just going to loop through this array that we see here and create a list of our available car brands that we have. So once you guys get that typed out, just go ahead and create a for each loop. And that's so cool. The autocomplete automatically allows me to loop through my brands and just give me a text with the brand.name right there. So let's go over how we can actually implement this new navigation functionality on our list now. And we're going to see how the data-driven navigation allows us to, implement a much more intricate navigation system here. So we're going to utilize that same navigation link, but we're going to see that it actually provides us with some different options for different pieces of functionality. So I can say navigation link here, and you guys will notice that there's an option here that gives you the ability to provide it with a value and a label. So let's select that, and we can just pass in the brand as the value, and the label could simply just be text brand.name, right? So this is what is known as value-based navigation now. So we also have to make this conform to hashable, guys. So just go up to the top and say hashable up there. And here's where this gets interesting. So on this list, guys, we're going to have this new modifier called navigation destination. And we'll be able to pass in some sort of value. And for this, we're going to say car brand dot self. And then this destination will be brand in. And then we can say text new. And then we could go and say like brand dot name. Okay, so this is basically the foundation of the new setup, and we're going to talk about some of its advantages in just a second. Let's just go ahead and make sure this works. So you guys will notice that when I click on this stuff, it has the exact same effect, but it is working in a slightly different way, right? And like I said before, it's now value-based. So we can say, hey, for this list, which is a list of car brands, I can say that I want this navigation link to look at the value that I'm looping through, which in this case is a brand, and then provide a navigation destination that is only associated with or tied to that particular like data object, which is really cool, right? So one of the issues that the navigation structure of SwiftUI had before was that we weren't able to extract logic and make it value-based in order to navigate from one view to the next based on clicking on something, right? So navigation logic got to get really complex and really messy for when you wanted to associate different views with different objects, with different screens and all that stuff. So this really solves that problem. And we are going to make this app a little more intricate to see just exactly how that works and the real benefits of this, right? So let's go ahead and divide this list up into some sections. So for example, guys, I'm going to highlight everything in this for each loop and make a section, right? And my section title is going to be like manufacturers or something like that. Manufacturers. Okay, it's hard to spell. And then just go ahead and put that there. And then we're going to make like another list section with another, data structure. So let me go ahead and just copy and paste this data struct over here. And you guys can, once again, just copy and paste it. Or you can, if you guys have been following me, you can access the source code on my website at stephancodes.com. I'll show that at the end of the video. But basically now we're going to get a list of cars, right? And this car structure is also identified and hashable, and it has a make, model, and year, and then a description returning us with like the year, make, and model of the car. So really quickly, I'm now going to go ahead and copy and paste this guy in here. My list of cars, pretty much the same thing we did here. So we just have an array of cars, guys. For example, the first object is a Ferrari 488 2022, Lamborghini Aventador 2023, blah, 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 blah. And we are going to go down here. And once you guys are finished typing that out or downloading the source code from my website at stephancodes.com, we are going to make a section here. And we're going to call this guy cars. And then we're going to loop through our cars array. Car in. Value is now a car. And the text is going to be car.description. So let's see how that looks. Right, so this is looking pretty good. Right, so now you guys notice that we have two list sections, right? One for manufacturers and one for cars. And each one of these lists is associated with its own particular data set and data structure. So, we have a list of cars, which is its own object, and then we have a list of car brands. So now let's see how would I navigate to a different view entirely when clicking on a car instead of a car manufacturer, right? So I can actually apply multiple navigation destinations to my overall list. So I could say .navigation destination for car.self and the destination car in. Let's just go ahead and make this like, a color .system red or something like that, right? So now if I click on this, it'll take me over to a red screen. If I click on this, it takes me over to this view. So you guys can see how much cleaner this is than the old system, if you're familiar with it, that we can make our navigation data-driven now, where we can associate a particular value or data type with our navigation links and then apply this navigation destination modifier to tell it where to go. And we're going to make this a little bit more intricate here, guys, I'm going to show you how to go to a different view for each individual list item, right? Because in a lot of tutorials that I've seen, guys will just post like a single view here, but in reality, in a real application, you are going to want each item to be associated with a different view. So let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to do that now. So I'm going to go and create a function within my content view, right? But outside of the body. And it's going to act as sort of a view router. Okay, so we're just going to say like func view for brand. And then let's go ahead and just pass in a brand here. Make it a car brand. And this is going to return any view. Okay, guys. So basically what we're going to do here is just take a look at what brand we're clicking on and associate a different view with each individual brand. So let's just go ahead and do like maybe a switch statement on this stuff. We can switch on the brand.name. Ideally, you would be switching through some sort of enumeration, but in this case, we're just going to loop through these raw strings that we have. So we're going to say like case Ferrari and put a colon there, and then we're going to say return any view, and then we can just say like color dot system. Oops. And it's dot system red, and you guys could replace this with like any sort of more intricate view that you had built out already, right? I'm just doing a simple color to show you guys how to like implement some logic here to associate each different list item or, you know, item with a different view. So let's just copy and paste this guy a couple times and change the name. So we have Lamborghini, and then we have Mercedes, boom, and then we have Aston Martin. Right there. So let's just get some different colors going here, guys. System green, system orange, and Lamborghini can be like system purple or something like that, right? It doesn't matter. And now let's go ahead and see how we're going to utilize this function. So inside of our navigation destination guy, you guys notice that we have access to the brand inside of this navigation destination modifier. So we can just go here and replace that with our function view for brand. And then let's just go ahead and wait for our preview to do its thing. Oh, we need to add a default case, guys. That's my bad. So we can just go over here and say default return. Let's see. And we can just do like maybe a system gray 5. Doesn't matter, right? Okay, so let's let our preview do its thing. And now we'll notice that every time I click on one of these views, it takes me over to a different view. So that's just a bonus feature I wanted to show you guys about how to associate a different view with each individual option that you have. So there is one more really, really slick and awesome feature that I want to go over with you guys, and it's the concept of a navigation path, right? So this is, like I said, one of the more awesome sort of intricate features about the new navigation system. So let's go ahead and create a state property up at the top, guys. Private var, and we can say like navigation path equals an array of car brands, right? And just initialize it like so. And then inside of our navigation stack, you're going to pass in a path and make this a navigation path. So basically what this navigation path allows us to do is take a look at or apply a custom modification to all of the views inside of our navigation stack. So for those of you who don't know how this works, a navigation stack essentially takes the root view and imagine it like a Z stack. When you push a new screen onto the view, it just pushes a view on top of that stack. And then the next view goes on top of that and on top of that. And it literally creates like a stack of views, right? So we have this navigation path property that we can use to keep track of our navigation path or apply custom modifications to it. So let's go over how we can do that. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just wrap this list inside of a VStack, guys. And I'm going to add a button here. Let me indent this really quick, just highlight it and hit Control I. So inside of my VStack, I'm going to add a button. And it's just going to be action escaping. And the action, we won't do anything just yet. We're just going to make it say text view all. And this is where things get interesting, guys. So here we'll be able to configure our navigation path to whatever we want it to be. So let's go ahead and see how that's going to work. We can say like navigation path. And we could say like, just make it equal to brands right now. So right now our navigation path, or this stack of items, is going to have every single one of our brands inside of it. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we press view all. So you guys will notice that it goes all the way to the last one to start. And then if I go back, it doesn't automatically go back to the root view. It goes through that entire stack, right? Because I've set up this path to be equal to my entire brands array. So that has a lot of utility that you can apply in your applications, guys. And this is really awesome for multiple reasons, right? Not only have we completely decoupled our navigation logic from this navigation link and really applied this like value-based navigation system, but we can also modify our navigation path however we see fit. So imagine a situation where like you had maybe a different like types of users in your application, and you wanted each different type of user to go through a specific type of flow, right? So, hey, this user sees screens 1 and 5, and then the next user sees screens 2, 3, and 4, and 5, or whatever it may be. So you can really customize your navigation logic a lot here. So let's go ahead and check out an example of how we might do that. So up at the top, let's just go ahead and create another state property. So we're going to say state private var show full stack, and we can just set that equal to false. Okay, so then let's go back down here, guys, and let's wrap this up in some logic. So let me cut that out and say if show full stack, we can say navigation path equals brands. Else, let's make our navigation path something more custom. So we can say navigation path equals brands 0 and like brands 2 and maybe brands 1 as well. And just to toggle back and forth between this Boolean property so we can see it like mixing things up in real time, let's just go and say show full stack dot toggle right here. Okay, so every time we press this view all button, it's going to toggle this property, and you guys will see that it takes us down an entirely different navigation path when I click on this guy. So if I say view all, right now, you'll notice it's the full stack, right? It's all of my items. But now if I say it again, show full stack will be false. So it's going to start at brands 1, which is Lamborghini, which is purple. And then it's going to go back to, and then it's going to go to this guy right here. And then it's going to go back to the Ferrari color right there. So that's how you can apply a custom navigation stack in your applications, guys. And you can also pop back to the root view whenever you want, simply by emptying this path out. So let's go over how to do that really quickly. So in this view right here, let's just go ahead and wrap this up in a VStack for the car brand guy. So go ahead and cut this and say VStack, paste that. And let's get another button in here. Action and oops, button, action and label, enter. And we can just empty out our path, okay? And then we're gonna make this text say, go to root. So let's check this out now, right? So navigation path, that's my bad. So make that say navigation path. And let's see what this does really quickly, guys. So if I say view all, right, you guys are going to notice now I have this option to go back to the root, right? So I can click that and it will just automatically take me back to the root view of my application. And I can do that whenever I want, right? So I could go back here and then go to the root, or I could just do it right away. Or I could literally go through a couple views in the stack and then go back to my root. So that's just how you clear out the navigation path and navigate back to your root view controller. So we can see here that we have a much more intricate system of navigation, guys. This new feature from SwiftUI is absolutely incredible. And it's a problem that they really needed to fix. A lot of people were complaining about the old setup of the navigation system and a lot of its drawbacks. And they took a huge step forward in solving that problem with this new functionality. So that's really awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, and especially if you want to see more content like this on the channel. And make sure you guys check out my website at stephancodes.com. We have a bunch of pro courses built fully in SwiftUI, like Uber, a chat app, and Instagram. If you guys want access to the source code for this project and a bunch of other awesome projects I've done on YouTube, you can check out the YouTube courses section, but this does require you to become a member. So I have a couple different membership plans with a bunch of different benefits. Right now, the Platinum membership is offering you a free course or source code file, which is $100 value as soon as you sign up, just for $19.99 a month. And then, we also have a bunch of amazing iOS app templates that are ready to go, production built applications here, guys, that have server-side functions, push notifications, and all of that stuff ready to go at your fingertips. As soon as you purchase it, you get a downloadable file with the complete source code for the project. So check me out at stephancodes.com. And hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.